Welcome to Arma 3 tutorial on the Drongo Air Operations mod. This will be a quick little tutorial on the air operations modules and how you can make it useful for your missions in your games. So to start off with, it will work by default if you don't want to have any restrictions on users and whatnot, but keep in mind that everyone in the game that's player wise can utilize your mod or the AI air operations. So you want to put like a restriction, or you can have whitelist users. So if you only want like your squad leaders to have access, or certain individuals to have access, like your pilots for your air operations. So if they get shot down, they can call in a helicopter to come pick them up. So we can put this down. You can choose the rank. I'll just put mine to colonel, and then you just make sure your the player that you want access to is also sets that minimum rank. This enables you to basically use any aircraft and assets. So you could basically use any aircraft. Next thing you could do is you could set to you don't want if you want to hide radar hints, so you basically prevent anyone in the game seeing the radar signatures. You could do that, and you could also hide communications if you're trying not to have air communications. There's also options, so if you want to set proximity fuses to true, you can. You can set radars on or off. Any delay, how long things delay. You could also set up evac rules. So if you want to have your aircraft return to their base after running out of ammo, you can, or if they run low on fuel. So if your operations, so you can have your AI basically being your CAS or your support. There's also default posture module, which allows you to basically have it loiter or go on cap. So if you want your jets flying around, you can have them shooting down enemy air assets. You can, and that's that bit. Then you have your air corridor, which basically sets the altitude of where your air assets will spawn from. So if you use like VM, you could set it up so you could set it up to where they spawn at 500 or 1,000 or whatever. And then this basically allows it. So this is basically if you don't have like airfields to work with, you could just assign aircraft to VAM, and it basically gets put in this little basically virtual airfield. And then when you go into your module and hey, I want this aircraft, it'll spawn. The cool thing with this one is you could set up. You put like I want to have 2 of each aircraft. So if you only want your mission to only have 2 aircraft, you can. So if you wanted to have drones, you could put drones to this. You want planes, you put planes to this. And it just makes one. You just have to put one to that, and it'll make duplicates of however many you want. For planes and stuff, if you're like doing your carrier operations or something, you can also put down any crate. So you could have a vehicle or basically storage or whatever you want to basically move your assets. You can turn these into refit points using refit point sync. And you can set the radius. I just learned this just today, since this is new since the last time I've played with Drongo. But basically, you could go up to either one of these crates that you have synced, and it will basically turn into your thing. So if you wanted to put like your fighter jet, you could basically change out its ordnance. You could change out its ordnance with modded weapons or other assets, or you could just turn around, spawn your aircraft as long as they're in the radius. Set these always to careless if you're using planes or VTOL aircraft. Helicopters, not so much of an issue. They can they have their own little thing that you could utilize. Basically, you could use these for infantry transport. You name it. CAS. You can also have them loitering, hovering, and then the cool thing is you can insert with the helicopters. They drop you and your troops off, and then it'll fly back to your starting base. So if you have it on a ship, you could have it basically calling it in. And you can also use carriers. So if you want to just do a full AI carrier ops, you can. So if you wanted to spawn the USS Liberty, you could spawn carrier aircraft. vanilla ones. I haven't really tested it out with modded ones like firewills and whatnot. But you just basically set it to careless. And you can also get the carrier drone, which is Sentinel. And you don't have to do anything with careless on that one since the drones are not AI focused for flying. And then you can also have a helicopter, so if you want to have a destroyer or helicopters take off, so say if you want to have like a naval one, you can. There's a refit helicopter point too, so if you want just your helicopters to get refit every time they land, they can. You can also have gunships. VTOL planes can be used. You can use these for like your airdrop missions if you want to like airdrop a lot of assets. So you could do your vehicles and cargoes, or you could do infantry. Just you want to set these to careless just in case. The gunship one is cool. It will loiter and stuff, but I recommend if you're going to utilize it with enemies nearby the airfield, have it take off and fly before you set it into gunship mode because it will just start shooting from the airfield, which is not coochie. Yep. And then basically you can call in airstrikes and stuff. So let's just dive into this. So here we got a bunch of assets, so we could go here once everything loads in. We could choose this. We could select out any aircraft that's nearby here. So if we want to, we could change this F-18 or Black Wasp to have different weapons, different armaments, or you can do by default. Same with this. You could also have these move too. So if you want to have like a Huron or something, airlift these crates to a different AO. So if you want to move your air base or retro or whatnot to a forward base, you can in that mission. So basically, you press H, you get basically your options. You can have the aircraft loiter. This column here is the altitude of how far which aircraft will fly to, up to 10,000 meters. Here's your radius of loitering. So basically, you can have it to 100,000, 50,000, 20,000, and so on and so forth. Basically, you just click, and then you left click anywhere on the map, and it should take off. As long as it's next to an airfield, or you could have it taxi. So if you want to, you could have these air bases completely filled, and they'll just taxi down to take off. You could also have your Cougar. You can have your helicopter, which I have this on the carrier. Come over here. You could also have your aircraft that you're going in. You can have it drop bombs. So we could have it blow up this solar tower. That's coming up this way. We'll have it just drop a bomb from over there. And you can set it to different altitudes too. There's a lot of different little options you could do. You're not restricted. You could, like I said, you could load equipment into that. So if you have ground vehicles that could fit in the Blackfish, the AI could do that. But sometimes just be careful. The Blackfish sometimes be very dumb and they'll crash. You can also spawn assets too with Zeus and still make it work. But word of caution though. So if you like use say a plane,
ready for orders.
Make sure you set that to careless so it doesn't automatically take off. Have a drop a bomb and boom. I may have just glitched this out. That or it's damaged. Either way, that's not supposed to happen. You'll say you can just fly in and you can have it deal all sorts of stuff. You can parachute in. So if I want to, I could paradrop myself onto this airfield. It'll do that. If I want to, I can have it insert myself. I can put it over here. lots of cool little features you can do. You can also call in cast. So cast basically sets the AI to hunt down the AI itself. You can also have it do cap, which will basically shoot down enemy air assets. So I think this is the other. You to loiter over here. Like I said, this one will allow it to taxi, and then it'll take off. So if you want to have your little airbase loiter or set up, we can do that. And then it'll set up taxi its way off the takeoff. You could also have the other Black Wasp that's on the carrier. You can have it loiter, fly it up there, and it'll set itself up and it'll take off. And then it goes up in the air and it'll fly, and then you can basically do the same thing with the drones. Basically, you're free to do anything you want. So your helicopter insert, you drop your troops off, and then it'll then return to base, all without any interaction by the player. And then when you're ready for a pickup, you can just call it in, tell it to land, or inserting might not work, but just having it land, and then it'll have you take you back to your base. Hello, so this is a separate take, but some of the things I forgot to cover in the air operation thing is there's a few little different buttons you can definitely mess with. You can do toggle office, which basically changes who to include. You can basically change VAM status, so if you want an aircraft to land, they don't end up disappearing in the airfield, so they can take off again. There's also bomb cam, which is cool, so you can watch the aircraft go in. You can also do gun cam, which for those who like the A10 can watch stuff like this, which basically you get to watch from the pilot's view if you're wanting to. You don't have to do this for immersion purposes, but if you're like testing to make sure the AI are actually shooting where you're telling it to shoot. Yep, and then you can do a lot of things too. Bomb cams can be fun, which I'll show you real quick. There's also you change the color of the map and add map grids. You can also tell it to drop bombs. But you always have to do this outside the circle. Go to bomb cam. Exit this. The bomb cam is really cool. If you don't want to thing, this is only for the user that's utilizing, who has access to that cam thing, will be able to see it. I don't know about multiplayer if this will work, but if you're in an immersion setting, this probably wouldn't matter as much. Unless you're the Zeus recording, which there might be pretty interesting aspect to see. And that is it. So that is it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.